Okay. The definition of hospitality is the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. This appears not quite very often in the Odyssey, but it does appear a good amount to Odysseus. For example, on page 231, which is the second page of book 2, book 10, excuse me, the king of Aea, Aeolus, who was gifted with the power of winds by Zeus, hosted Odysseus and his men for a full month before he set off on his journey to return home. One thing he said is, he denied me nothing. He went about my passage. He gave me a sack skin full of a full grown ox, binding the winds that howl from every quarter. This essentially was the winds that are supposed to get Odysseus home, and again was just a great show of hospitality to Odysseus and his crew, despite him not really knowing Odysseus and Odysseus not really doing anything for him specifically. Another example of this can be seen on page 242 in a way with Queen Circe, who uh, while Odysseus was there, had a housekeeper serve bread to him with appetizers aplenty and press him to eat, trying to show her, although it was lust for Odysseus, was still treating him like a king in a foreign land. Although although she did turn his men into swine, she was very hospitable to Odysseus, and although it was lust based, it is a form of prime example of hospitality. Another example of this is page 286, which is book 2. Hold on. 286, start of book 2, slash 287, when King Alcinius gave him robes, hammered gold, and other halls of gifts, and called for the people in the castle to each add a sumptuous tripod, add a cauldron, and recovered the cause such a and afforded bounty man by man. The king's instructions met with warm applause home. They and Odysseus' crew went to sleep each in his own house. So basically, they gave each of them their own house and basically treat them like kings. And then they eventually went back to Alcinius' house to have a royal feast with ox, blah blah blah, a bunch of other stuff. Another and probably the biggest example of this is Eumaeus, which is page 303 in book 14. Eumaeus, although Odysseus was disguised and dressed like a beggar, because most people before this were treating Odysseus amazingly because he was Odysseus, the the favorite of the gods, a master trickster. No, and everybody wanted to be friends with him because he's Odysseus. Like he's like that. He's like a celebrity, and nobody wants to be really enemies with Odysseus because he's really clever, etc. So in this case, he's disguised, and on page 303, Eumaeus gives him feeds him, gives him a place to sleep, etc., etc. Prime example of hospitality. This video went on too long. Sorry, but I have evidence this time. Again, I keep saying it. Oh, also, again, I have this version of the book by Robert Fallis, in case you're wondering if the page numbers are a little off. So,